Tuesday, where we talk all things boxing and we pull no punches. Brought to you by the HeavyBag.
Alright, guys. How's it going?
What up, what up?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, man, driving home.
Cool. Alright, we got everybody on. Go ahead and start things out. The first thing I'm going to talk about is, of course, the Saturday's fights between Donaire and Rigondeaux. I'm going to get predictions. Rudy, go ahead.
Yeah, well, Saturday's going to be a great fight. I mean, it's one of those fights that I personally wanted to see if the Donaire Mares fight didn't happen. I think Rigondeaux is a very crafty fighter. I mean, he has good skills, and he has the amateur background on his back. He has that Olympic experience as well. But I honestly think that Nonito is gonna end up chewing him up. I mean, I think his power is gonna be too much for Rigondeaux's chin. Marroquin was able to drop him last time he fought. They both fought, and I just think once Donaire hits that left hook, I mean, it's going to be a good night. That's my prediction. I predict Nonito knocks out Rigondeaux in the 8th round.
8th round KO. Alright. Rob, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I think it's honestly, to me, this is a case scenario where it's a good matchup on paper, but really when they get down to it, I think Donaire is just going to dominate him from the opening bell. I feel that it'll be a knockout a little bit sooner than Rudy in about the 6th round. Rigondeaux has a lot of talent there there's a lot of talent projected, but he has to build on it. He definitely is ready for a fight with Donaire, but he's not going to be able to do much with him. Donaire is the pound-for-pound king for a reason. Donaire's on a different level. To me, it's just Donaire's on a different level than Rigondeaux. And he's going to get knocked out in the 6th round, if not earlier.
Alright. Well, we're unanimous on this one because I also see Donaire winning. It's not that, Rigondeaux's not good. He is very crafty and very skilled. But Donaire's power is just going to be too much for him. And we've seen this before where everybody's like, oh, this is going to be a good fight. Donaire's finally met his match. And each time, either they're afraid to let their hands go to get countered, and either they just try to survive, or they end up like Arce, trying to trade and get knocked out. So, I mean, they're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't with Donaire. But I'm even going less than you guys. I'm going to say 5-round KO or before. Right. But that's just my take.
And just to add on that, I mean, I've been watching a lot of YouTube channels, and I've seen a lot that the Cubans kind of get a little bit insulted that a lot of people are choosing Nonito. And I mean, to me personally, I'm not disrespecting Rigo or the Cuban boxing history. Man, I just think Donaire is on his prime, and when a fighter's in his prime, it's very tough to knock him out of that stage. I mean,
yeah, it's a classic example of a fighter who's at tip-top level and a fighter who's building his career. And
right, and I mean, it's definitely not a... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead, bud. You go ahead.
But it's definitely not anybody's, taking a shot at the Cubans, because, I mean, they got champions. I mean, they got Laura. I know he's not a champion, but they got Laura, which is an amazing fighter. Abril, another amazing fighter. So, I mean, Rigondeaux is just going to add on to all the already greatness, but definitely nobody's taking a shot at the Cubans. I mean,
no, I mean, Gamboa, you can throw Gamboa in there.
probably going to end up getting a belt at some point.
But I'll see it a little later.
All right. The next thing I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, a lot of people are all about Golovkin, like he's invincible. No one can beat him. The only people that they're saying that can beat him right now is Ward. And that's all I keep seeing. And some people don't even think Ward can stop him. What's your take on it, Rudy?
Well, you know, going by the first time I saw him fight was this Proska, and how HBO was saying that he was boxing's best kept secret. And personally, I guess he was a secret because I had never heard of the guy. You know, but I mean, he does. I mean, I'm not gonna take nothing away from him. I mean, but it's evident that the guy can pop. You know, I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a fighter cut somebody off a jab the way he did Rosado. I don't know if you guys remember how he just, you know, took that jab and all of a sudden Rosado's eye blew up. I mean, it's evident that the guy can hit. I mean, is he unstoppable? I mean, I don't think he is. You know, I think once he faces somebody, maybe like a Quinton, who is also, you know, great boxer, good skills. You know, I think Quinton, I mean, he could probably do some damage on Triple G. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, you know, Quinton will have an easy night, you know, but I think once he faces, you know, bigger and top 160 opponents, I think somebody's gonna be able to stop him, or at least expose him, you know.
Definitely, yeah. What's your take on it, Rob?
Well, to go back on the article you had written before, speed versus power, Golovkin definitely has power. And the argument there is, you know, Mayweather and a lot of people like him believe that speed kills, speed is what breaks you down, speed is what wins fights. But you can never, you know, which was your point, Lucas, you can never count out power. And Golovkin has one punch knockout power. And that's going to be evident in anybody he faces, even Ward. I am heavy on Golovkin. I like that power. I like the power he shows. Even in the Yoshida fight, you know, that was an amazing knockout to a fighter who, James Kirkland, who is the HeavyBag's knockout king, so to speak, you know. Even against James Kirkland, James wasn't able to knock him out. So I'm big on Golovkin. The sky's the ceiling. I do agree with Lucas that I do agree with the fact that because he has more power than speed and boxing skills, you know, he definitely could get beat. He's not going to have an undefeated record. But when it's said and done, he's going to be among one of the great knockout kings, you know, in boxing. That's my opinion.
Cool.
Well, I mean, I agree with you guys that he has power. I mean, the fact that Kirkland couldn't knock him out, that's a little irrelevant just because, you know, he was on, like, his fifth fight in the last, like, 2 or 3 months or something, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not giving an excuse. Him beating Ishida isn't that impressive. Him knocking Ishida out is impressive. Him beating Proska, also impressive. Rosado, you know, that was okay. Even Rosado did some damage to him. I mean, they're backing up the whole time. So I'm not all the way sold on Golovkin. He hasn't fought the next tier up yet. When he takes on Macklin, that's going to be a true statement. I mean, it's still a step up. It's still not the top of the class, but it's, you know, right there.
Right.
It's a step in the right direction. Yeah.
Right. And I'm not so sure. Everybody's sold that he's going to win, you know, and everybody's already counting Macklin out, and I'm not so sure, man. Macklin might get him.
Yeah, I mean, and then the other thing is, I mean, he hasn't really, I mean, I might be ignorant on his background, you know, but when you look at the Ishida fight and the Rosado, I mean, those two guys were, you know, natural 160 pounders, you know what I mean? I solid timeline on that division. And I mean, okay, let's say he does, get through Macklin. I mean, then another opposition right there. A lot of people might laugh at me or ridicule me or whatever, but you got Chavez Jr. I mean, the dude, even with all his the lack of that he has, I mean, the guy can fight. I mean, he might not have the boxing skills, but he could throw down, and he comes at fight night, probably like a fucking cruiserweight, So
you talking about Chavez Jr., Rudy?
Yeah, Chavez Jr.
Yeah, I agree. Chavez can fight. The only issue is, the only thing I've seen in that Martinez fight, yes, he was getting dominated the whole way through, and he came back with an exciting last round. But where was that the whole 11 rounds?
Well, no, that's what I mean, though. I'm not saying that Chavez is going to be Golovkin's, end of the road. I'm just saying that Chavez is another opponent where we could say if Golovkin's, that big fighter, you know what I mean? Like, that's another opponent at that division where we could say if he walks over Macklin and walks over Chavez, and it's like, oh damn, Triple G ain't actually ready.
Yeah, I mean, see, like you said, Rudy, I mean, he beat up Rosado, which took him a while, but he's 154 normally. He blew up to try to get to go up to get the belt. Then he fought Ishida, which is normally 154 also. So, I mean, really, what has he proven? Since he's been in the States, it is kind of like a Canelo. Like, he does show promise, I'm not denying that, but he's still overhyped.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that just HBO and is really good at doing.
I agree. Yeah, promoters working definitely. I'm gonna leave Trout Canelo. I'm gonna leave that for next week. That way it's fight week. We get that. But let's go ahead and talk about Tyson Fury versus Steve Cunningham.
Okay.
Go ahead. How do you see that fight going? Rob, why don't you start out this one?
Well, to be honest with you, Tyson Fury, I have not seen a lot of. I haven't seen a lot of him. I understand he's a good up-and-coming heavyweight. But Steve Cunningham has more experience. I definitely know he has more experience than Tyson Fury. And Cunningham, to me, as a heavyweight fighter, the judges didn't think this, but in my opinion, as a heavyweight, he's undefeated. And he beat a very polished fighter in Adam Medic. And Tyson Fury is up and coming. He's got a lot of, he's got a lot of good vibes and everything going his way, but he's not like a prospect of the year type. Or he was never a prospect of the year type. So in my opinion, I think Steve Cunningham will take that. The only thing I want to look for in Cunningham is that killer instinct, and I want him to knock him out. Because we can't go to another botched decision like it has been for him in his career. I just want to see him go ahead and take the bull by the horn, so to speak, and knock this kid out. So that's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting Cunningham with the knockout.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. I mean, dude is big. Tyson Fury is big. It's gonna take a lot for Cunningham to knock him out. But I do see him kind of outpointing him. I mean, Tyson Fury hasn't really fought anybody as experienced as Cunningham, so I really see him just getting worn down. But Tyson Fury is in a lot better shape than I've ever seen him at. So, I mean, tides could change. But Rudy, what do you say?
Well, I'm gonna be to a point. I do want Tyson. I mean, I want Cunningham to knock Tyson Fury out just because Tyson Fury is British. I mean, literally, I got nothing against British people, but I just think their fighters are, they might outshine their opposition back in the UK, but once they come to the US, I mean, fighters, you know what I mean? And I think Cunningham, I see him winning, and I actually hope that he gets wins decisively by knockout decision. Just so they could start fueling the heavyweights again. Heavyweights ain't making no noise in the U.S. anymore. It's like, what's up? So I want Cunningham to win, definitely.
All right, cool. I don't know if this is going around. I don't even know if it's fully confirmed yet, but I'm hearing the Tisei versus Peterson has been made for a 1 pound catch weight. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I heard it was 151 or something?
141. It's
141. I'm way off. No, yeah, 141, yeah.
Who does that? And why?
Well, that's an old wrestling trick right there. When I used to wrestle, we used to have what's called pound allowance. And basically, if you were 140, you'd have 1 to 2 pound allowance. You can weigh in on fight night or whatever you may have at, 141, 142. So that to me ain't nothing but a pound allowance right there.
It's a good take on it, Rob. But who's that pound going to benefit? That's my question.
That's weird. You're right. That's what I said. That's weird. I mean, in wrestling, they did it for one. It's high school wrestling, so they did it so nobody would get killed trying to cut weight. But who do they?
My
get killed.
Right. But my question is, I mean, has any one of those two guys ever struggled to make 140, or what's the deal? Like, I've never heard of Matisse struggle with making 140, or Peterson when he was 100. I really don't understand why even go that route.
Yeah, I've never heard of either one of the guys struggling to make that weight. That just doesn't make any sense. But I guess it is what it is. After everything, Kendall Holt was actually released today saying that he was cleared of any wrongdoing in the drug test. And he's moving up to 147. Okay. Who do you guys, or who would you guys like to see him fight?
Rudy. Yeah. And I would like to see him fight Maidana. Maidana is Kendall Holt looks he likes to throw punches, and he likes to fight. So, and like they say, styles make fight. And Maidana, there's another warrior right there. That would make a heck of a entertaining fight to watch.
Yeah, the 147, he really has kind of some takings there. He's got Devin Alexander, and since he's not top rank and he's not Golden Boy either, he can go both ways. So he has both fighters, both stables to pick from, and really he can go anywhere. He can go, Devin Alexander, Ortiz, Bradley, Kel Brock, whatever he wants to do. He has free reign of it, but I'd like to see him versus Marquez. Marquez is slow enough now that, he can't just completely outbox him, so he'd have to, stand in and fight, and I don't know. Hope might actually come out of that one ahead. You never know.
But the problem is, honestly, I don't think Marquez will even take that fight. I think Marquez is more, at the end of his career, and he's just trying to get another big payday, you know what I mean? And I don't think that Marquez Holt will bring that much of a card, you know what I mean?
A payday, yeah. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Which leads me to the problem, how crushed is his spirits from losing to Peterson like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, This Peterson did kind of squash him, and I've seen Holt lose, but never really that badly.
Never that bad. Never that bad. Yeah. There was something the Lamar Peterson crushed him.
Really? I thought he was going to beat Bradley. I'm sorry, go ahead, Rudy.
No, I was saying I was surprised how good Peterson looked after I honestly thought the fight was probably going to be, a little bit on the boring side. Not so much action, more tactical. I thought the ring rust was going to be a lot more visible, but Peterson is really good. I don't know if he came back really good or Holt was just not on his day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's got more rounds. With Matisse coming off a 1-round KO, I don't know who's going to win that one because people are still underdogging Peterson, and I don't know, man. That one's going to be a good fight. I don't think it's going to be no 2 or 3 round fight.
Well, Lucas,
down to the nitty gritty.
Lucas, you know me and my Mexican soccer hooliganism. I'm with Peterson.
Yeah, I know. Your soccer rivalry won't let you like Argentinians too much.
No, I'm with Peterson, and I hope Peterson rocks his ass.
But I have a question for you guys on that fight, though. With it being, hype, basically it's a boxing fan's dream, and it's going to be heavily hyped. And with the way that their styles are, do you honestly think at the end of that one there could be some controversy? Maybe like if it goes to a decision?
I don't know. Possibly because, that's what it is with boxing. It happens all the time with boxing, but that's another reason why the sport is so great. It's like a soap opera upon itself.
Right.
But it's going to happen. No matter where they're fighting. The good news is that they're not fighting in anybody's hometown. It's going to be in Atlantic City, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I could see it being at least less likely for some crazy stuff like that to happen, but I may be wrong. Rudy?
I'm looking forward to it. Go ahead, I'm sorry, Rudy.
No, yeah, I was going to say the only controversy, if any there, obviously, like they're fighting in neutral grounds, true, but you know how Matisse is the champ, so, they might, judge it, if it goes on decision, they might give him, the upper edge, just because that's probably the only controversy I would see. Other than that, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a heck of a fight.
Yeah, he's the champ, but then you got to look at Golden Boy. Golden Boy is involved with Lamont Peterson, which is why I'm looking forward to that, because I think it's going to be a war throughout. There's not going to be any moment for you to blink in that fight, and it's going to be a close one, and it's going to go to decision. I don't see them knocking each other out, or unless they knock each other out, both at the same time, and I don't see that happening. They both got heart, they both got power. I think it's going to go to decision, and whoever wins that fight is going to be too close to call.
Yeah. They're both ran by Golden Boys, so I'm not really too much worried about Golden Boy playing a part into it. Just, maybe hometown more for Peterson just because, he's from America, but I'm not really worried about that one too much. Hopefully it comes down to the wire, but I don't know. I don't see it ending in a knockout either. But one thing I do see, though, that could be playing a part is Canelo in San Antonio. Of course, he's going to be the hometown there.
Definitely.
And he's ran by Golden Boy, whereas Trout is not.
I don't know, though. Trout is from New Mexico, though.
Yeah, but
that's really good.
Trout beat Miguel Cotto, and to some people, still unknown. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, so, after the Matisse-Peterson fight, no matter who wins, who should they face next? Should that be automatically the number one contender for Danny Garcia? Or should they have to face Amir Khan first? Ring right now has Amir Khan ranked number 2, even though I don't agree with that.
I would say Khan just because either one of those could send him back to England. Get him out.
So Rudy's being biased there. Yeah, I think he should fight the winner
regardless, if Peterson, even if Peterson loses, I still want to see that Amir Khan rematch. I mean, I won $300 off of the first fight. So when they were doing the second one, I'm like, yes, I'm going to win some more. And it never happened.
I mean, that'd be a win-win for you then. Then, if he loses, then he gets a shot at Amir Khan again.
Right. Last thing, because we went a little short on time here, I've also heard Pacquiao's probably not going to be facing Marquez. He's supposed to be actually releasing it later this week on who he's going to be fighting. Mike Alvarado's on the top of one of them lists, and that's actually considered for China. What are you guys' takes on that?
Go ahead, Rudy.
I mean, a Pacquiao Alvarado fight, that's what you're saying? I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah. Pacquiao Alvarado.
Heck of a fight. I mean, Pacquiao, even though, he got served by Marquez, won fairly, got caught. But I mean, Pacquiao is Pacquiao, going at it with Alvarado, I mean, I think it'll be a good fight.
Some people don't come back. Is he going to be okay after the comeback?
I think he would. I think he could. I mean, the guy was fighting a perfect fight before he got caught with that right. It's not like Marquez, outboxed him and outshined him and made him look like he's not the Pacquiao of 2-3 years ago. I mean, honestly, I was seeing Pacquiao beating Marquez. So I don't think...
I actually think... Sorry, man.
Go?
No,
go for it.
I actually think that that Pacquiao's gonna come out more hungry and better. I think he's gonna come out from that knockout. Everybody's talking about it. Like Lucas just said, can he ever come back from that? People are acting as if Pacquiao's dead. I think he's gonna come out of that hungrier than ever. I think before he got knocked out, he thought he was invincible. I mean, hell, for the most part, he was invincible. Even after the Tim Bradley botched decision, I think he thought he was invincible, and that just took him back down to reality. I think he wanted Marquez right now. I think he wants Marquez at a bar in Mexico. It doesn't matter. He will fight Marquez right now if he has to at a bar inside Mexico right now if he could, and knock him out.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I mean, that guy puts on that nice guy facade, but I know it ain't true. Underneath his skin, he's like, man, I'm going to get that dude in the ring, I'm going to tear his ass up. I know he's thinking that underneath all that, but he's being nice. You can see it in his face. Like, whenever he gets rocked and he punches his hands together, you can tell it's death. He just don't let anybody know it, and he's never going to admit it. But we are running short on time.